Hi guys, welcome back to next episode of SamDjanShow. Today I'm ranking the top 10 worst TV dads, so let's get into it. Welcome back to next episode of SamDjanShow. When we talk about pop culture, today I'm ranking top 10 worst TV dads. Before I do, don't forget to subscribe and click catch with the algorithm. So, this is something new I kind of wanted to do. I might do, if this does well, do worst TV mums and worst TV kids. So, before I do, don't forget to subscribe and click catch with the algorithm. So, let's get into it. Number 10, I have Bart Bass from Gossip Girl. Bart Bass is his son is Chuck, and okay, from the beginning you're not supposed to like Chuck, and I think he probably got that from his father. And Bart Bass, he's just okay. Okay, first of all, he marries Lily, and then Lily cheats on him with Rufus, and then he fakes his death. And then he pretty much scolds his son, and he comes back in then season 6, but he was alive. And then basically he sent Chuck to go somewhere on a plane, and then the plane, and he intended for the plane to get sabotaged, and then the pilot had to jump out of the plane, same as Chuck. And then he said it at a place, a party or whatever. And then it was on the and then they're on the balcony, and then he falls off the railings, and he falls and he dies. And then that's pretty much. Then the next episode is about Chuck and Blair getting married so that they don't go to jail. And yeah, Bart Bass is probably one of the worst dads on TV. And yeah, so yeah, it's Bart Bass. Number 9, I have Dexter Morgan. Now Dexter, there's this debate whether he's a hero or a villain. Now I don't see he's a hero. I see him more an anti-hero because even though yeah, he kills bad people. There is some good people he's killed, but Dexter Morgan, he's a serial killer. He works at Miami Metro, and then at night he's a serial killer. He's a blood splat analysis, and then he's with Rita. He kind of gets with Rita to like cover up pretty much to cover up his like. And then the whole thing with him and Dokes, and then Deb, and then pretty much all the villains. And yeah, then he's with then when Rita dies in season 5, he has Astra and Cody. Because that eventually he would have a son. Um Harrison, which he actually he lives in with them. And then he fakes his death, and then he's a lumberjack. So yeah. Now, because Harrison was a baby, we didn't really get to see them. Then Dexter New Blood, he abandoned him, and then we find out that Hannah died, and then then he goes after 10 years. He goes to kills again, and then he pretty much gets outed. And then Batista finds out. Then Harrison kills him, and which obviously that and then they retconned it. That was come back in Dexter Resurrection, and I like Dexter, and so yeah, that's pretty much it. Let's go and say on Dexter. Number 8, I have Tony Soprano from The Sopranos. He's played by James Gandolfini. Now he's a father, but he's a mob. He's part of the mafia, member of Italian mafia, and he has 2 kids, Meadow Soprano and then Anthony Soprano, and he's violent. I think the way he treats his kids, and yeah, the whole ending is ambiguous. You don't know what happens to him, and yeah, he's really violent, and then he fights people, he kills people, and yes, Tony Soprano and James Gandolfini. He's just really good in the role. I really like. And the thing is with Tony Soprano, you're not supposed to like him, but you just like him because James Gandolfini does such a good performance. So yeah, Sopranos. Um, Number seven, I have Tywin Lannister from Game of Thrones. Um, he is played by Charles Dance. He has three children: Cersei Lannister, Jaime Lannister, and Tyrion Lannister. Now Cersei and Jaime are together, even though they're brother and sister. And yeah, he just was not a good father. He just wasn't. And yeah, that's pretty much. Yeah, I just yeah, what he did on the show. I haven't seen Game of Thrones. I just didn't know what else to put there, so I just put him in Game of Thrones. But pretty much all the characters are not good, so are bad, and but we still like them. Number six, I have Breaking Bad. Number six, I have Walter White from Breaking Bad. He's played by um um he's played by Bryan Cranston. Obviously he sells he's a chemist with us with Jesse Pinkman, and he has stage 3 lung cancer, and then he sells meth to people, and then he gets the whole thing with Frank, and then he has two kids, Walter White Jr. and Holly. Holly's a baby, Walter White Jr., and then Hank, his brother-in-law, he causes him to get killed, and yeah, so you're not supposed to like Walter White, but I still like him because I feel like Bryan Cranston's performance is really good, and he dies at the end. But yeah, I like Walter White. He wasn't a good father, but he wasn't even yeah. And the thing with Skylar, which I don't mind Skylar. Skylar gets so much hate, but yeah, there's Walter White. Number five, I have Marty Bird, Ozark, and I don't play by Nate Patrick um Patrick Bateman. Um, no, Jason Bateman. I haven't seen Ozark. I don't know if it's good or not. I just know he has. I don't know how many kids. I think he has two. Um, so yeah, he's basically a money launderer for a Mexican drug cartel. Which I might have to watch Ozark. I just haven't got around to it. So it's Martin Bird, Marty Bird. Number four, I have Frank Gallagher from Shameless. Now I'm gonna go through the U.S. Shameless because I'm more familiar with that than the UK one. I think honestly the US one is way more worse than the UK one. Like him in the now, we know that Frank is a narcissistic. He does anything he wants to get anything he wants to get money. He neglects his kids. He's violent towards them, and I just like the character. Like, not supposed to like him, but William H Macy does such a good performance, and yeah, the show goes on for long. He doesn't really change, and we know he's not going to change. Obviously, he dies at the end. But all the kids, you'll think they'll like be done with Frank, but they still kind of tolerate him, which I think Frank likes him in his own messed up way. Because unlike Monica, she didn't leave them. He actually stayed with them the whole time, and he was always around. And yeah, he's done messed up things. He ruined Fiona's wedding. He also and all that stuff. And then so yeah, Frank Gallagher, which yeah, he's so charismatic because William H Macy pulls off such a good performance. So yeah, so Frank Gallagher. Number three, I have Hiram Lodge from Riverdale. Um, now he's played by he's played by Mark Consuelos. Um, he's the he has one daughter, Veronica Lodge, and he has yeah, that's pretty much it. He's just the way he treats everyone in Riverdale, specifically the kids. He gets Archie sent to prison. He basically all kinds of stuff. Now in season we don't see him in season one. Season one he's in prison. We find out that he bought the drive-in and all that. In season two we finally see him and the way that he treats everyone, and it's just I don't know. Then he finally gets killed in season six. Basically, Veronica sends someone to a hitman or someone to kill him, But yeah, the way you just see him on screen and the performance by Mark Consuelos, yeah, it's on CW, but he does such a good job um on the show, Simon Lodge. Number two, I have Dan Scott. Dan Scott from One Tree Hill, played by Paul Johansson. He was probably, isn't with Dan. You're not supposed to like him, but I actually like him because I think Paul Johansson's performance is so good. Where is he? He's the younger brother of Keith, and he pretty much like okay. So he has two children. He had Nathan, then he had Lucas. Now he abandoned one. The one he abandoned was Lucas, and then the whole thing with him and his brother Keith, they don't get along. And then basically he was with Karen and he left to be with Deb. And the way he just treats everyone, the fact that he just insults people straight to their face without hesitation, he just insults people and he's violent towards them. And yeah, it's just yeah. Then he kills Keith in season three because he thought he killed him in the dealership, which happened in season two. Then he found out it was Deb, so he killed his brother for nothing. Now everyone hates him. That's pretty much it. Now Jamie likes him for one, and they're fine with it because I feel like because Jamie wasn't there during that, so I don't think he would understand. And he finally understands that he's the one who killed Keith, and then yeah, it's pretty much now season nine. He's pretty much the hero. He's the only one. He's not really a villain, and he gets his redemption. He sacrificed himself. He gets killed. Because they were going to kill Nathan when Nathan gets kidnapped, and then he dies, and he meets Keith in the afterlife, and he forgives him. And it just is such a heartfelt scene. I love One Tree Hill. If you're gonna, I honestly recommend you just watch One Tree Hill just for Dan Scott. He's so good on the show. And yes, One Tree Hill. Now before we get to number one, I have some honorable mentions. Now I have Ward Cameron from Outer Banks. Now I haven't seen Outer Banks, but yeah. So number four, I have Byron Montgomery, which he was the mother of Arya and um Arya and Mike Montgomery. Yeah, he has an affair. He cheats on his wife with Merida, and he was probably one of the worst. All the dads are bad. Well, the only good one is probably Wayne, Emily's dad, and then he dies. And I don't think Allison's dad really did anything, but I just did not like Byron. So yeah. Um, who plays him? Um, he's played by Chad Lowe. Um, so next we got Don Draper from Mad Men. Now he had two children. He had Sally Draper, and then there was another. Then he had another. He had a son. Then he was with Bay Draper, and then they got divorced, and he gets married to somebody else. And then he just has with so many women. He cheats on his wives. Yeah, that's pretty much it. He doesn't get any redemption. He doesn't get anything. No comeuppance, nothing. And John Hamm does such a good performance. And yeah, so Don Draper. Next we got Jimmy Cooper. Jimmy Cooper from the OC, played by Tate Donovan. Now OC was groundbreaking, at least in season one. And he's just the whole thing with you find out that he stole money from his clients and his friends, so embezzlement, and then also he was a good father to Marissa and Caitlin. We didn't see him much with Caitlin, but yeah, then he gets with Haley because he couldn't be with Kirsten. I'm actually like Jimmy Cooper. Season one is probably him at his worst, but I think he's fine in season two and three. And yeah, so Jimmy Cooper. And Tate Donovan does a good performance, so let's go Stan Smith. Now, I don't think Stan Smith is an actual bad dad. Like the way he treats Steve and Haley, I do think he's a good dad, but I just feel like he's too obsessed with like his job, and like that's pretty much all I can that's pretty much all I can say. And now that's all the honorable mentions. Now number one, Peter Griffin, which I think he's probably the worst dad of all time. The way he treats all his kids, his kid Steve. No, Chris, Stewie, and Meg. The way he treats Meg, and speaking of Griffith, I think in the beginning he was a really nice, caring father, and in later seasons he just gets more dumb, he gets more violent, and yeah. So, but we still like him, and I also think Seth MacFarlane does a good job voicing him. But I think he's the worst dad. I do like him though, but the way he treats his kids and pretty much neglects them. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So that's pretty much it. I think after this I'll do worst top 10 worst TV mums. You guys, thank you for watching my video. See you in my next video. Goodbye.